I'm sorry. How many times have you said that today already? We apologize profusely. Sometimes perhaps when we shouldn't, and then sometimes we don't when we should. Dr. Nick joins us this morning with more. Great to see you.
More questions.
More questions.
More questions. You know, I read an article that I thought was really interesting, Whitney, and it talked about the power of an apology. And I think, you know, we talk a lot about forgiveness, but we really do need to also be aware of when it's appropriate to say, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, because for some people it's very difficult.
Very difficult.
They can't say it.
Very difficult. It's everybody else's problem or everybody else's fault. And then there are those of us who say it, as you said, profusely. We say it automatically, almost in rote, as if I'm so sorry that I'm alive.
Well,
which is the other extreme.
Yes. How about I'm sorry for things we haven't even done?
Yeah, the biggest struggle I have with I'm sorry is when someone's been hurt and it wasn't intentional.
And you mean by the person,
by the
person, the one who's apologizing?
Yeah, the person who wants the apology is thinking that that other person owes them an apology. Okay.
Okay.
That person who supposedly hurt the other didn't intend to hurt the other. They may have done an intervention. They may have said something that was very challenging. They may have, you know, made a decision that they thought was in the best interest of the other, but wasn't perceived that way or was perceived as hurtful. We can use an intervention as a great example.
Okay, let's do, because that...
I mean, alcohol or any kind of drug, and it's like, you did this to me. You did this to me. It's like, I did this in order to help you, and not to hurt you, but the hurt is on the part of that person, victim.
Sure, sure. And so that person feels like they have to apologize and apologize when really maybe saying I'm sorry isn't even the right word. Maybe it should be see, here I go again. I'm sorry you're hurting.
Yeah, it's really hard. I'm sorry.
I know you're struggling and you're hurt.
And that can
saddens me.
And that can come across patronizing.
Oh, you're right.
It's just. I'm telling you, this is not an easy thing, because if you say I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it, then is it really I'm sorry?
Right. Are you just saying it to appease someone?
But the article made the case, and I think I'm leaning more and more towards that. Say it without the but.
Oh.
Just simply say, you know, I'm really sorry. There is a connectedness in human nature. When someone tells you a sad story, I bet you that your automatic response is, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Immediately. And I don't think that's insincere. When people say that I'm sorry, I think they really mean it. Not that I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that happened for you. Mm-hmm. It hurts me that you're hurting.
Sure.
We are connected. There's a human, almost universality to the fact that we hurt each other. And so we really are saying I'm sorry for other people. And
so that's the power of it. That's why we have to be able to say it.
That's the power of it, taking the high ground. But let's move it one more step. How many times do you say it?
How many times does someone have to receive it to get it?
Yes, right. So now you're in that, okay, I've said I'm sorry, can we move on?
Right.
And if you're still holding it, then obviously it really is your issue. And how to say that again is difficult.
Sure.
But it really is the person who's still holding the grudge. And that grudge may be from long time past hurt that's been triggered by the offense of someone else. Unintentional, you know.
Right. Why is it that some people cannot accept an apology? Is it because they haven't worked through it yet, that they're still mad and angry? Because should you say you accept someone's apology when really you're seething inside?
Boy, I gotta tell you, that's the only answer I can give is that the ones in that situation, one's sense of self is so weak and so fragile and so insecure that they're always looking for something to hold them up, to ground them, to make them feel a little better. And so it becomes almost like a drug You need to just keep saying it so I'll feel better, but I'm not really feeling better. See, and that's when it does go back to the person that is holding the grudge, not accepting the I'm sorry.
Sure.
And that's where the work has to be. And I'm telling you, as a mental health professional, that gets tough.
Sure.
That gets tough to try to challenge someone who's hurting, that the only way you can really get out of your own pain is to do your own healing.
Right. Is it often, let me ask you professionally, is it often other stuff?
Oh, I think
And,
so.
and am I, even with that person, it's years, and let's say it's a sibling. It could go back to when they were, teenagers.
Yes, yes. Well, remember, probably a lot of the I'm sorry needs to go to family members and siblings and parents. I mean, where is the hurt most profound, if not in the home?
Sure. Those we love most, we hurt
Sure,
most.
because they're the most accessible. That's who we live with. That's who we're going to hurt, and that's when I think the real power of forgiveness and hey, this is the way life rolls. We're back to life is just really not that fair. Get over it. See how harsh that sounds.
It does sound harsh.
Sounds harsh, but it's real.
Right. For those of us who apologize profusely, should we pull back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think for those of us who just do it automatically all the time, definitely have to kind of stop reacting and think, okay, am I really?
And for those who...
Am I really?
Am I really?
Am I really sorry? Now, when it comes to, again, somebody's painful story being shared, I have no problem saying I'm sorry. But when somebody accuses me of something that I didn't do, I'm like, whoa, I'm having a hard time taking this responsibility on. I didn't do it. We got to find out where that needs to go.
Sure.
Where that hurt needs to go, and then try to resolve that. That's a good point that you helped me make.
For people who can't apologize, how do they get over that? Is it a stubbornness? Is it a I'm always right? Is it a...
Well, it's probably the same answer that I would give earlier. It's a lack of self. It's a lack of security. If I'm secure in who I am, Whitney, it's not going to kill me to say I'm sorry.
Right.
It's really not. I can say it and move on and say, okay, I didn't mean to, or I did mean to. I did it. It's done. It's over. Where another problem comes in real quick, though, is when we get in a habit of abusing and then saying I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hurting and then saying I'm sorry, which is again a pattern that we see very often in life. That's very unhealthy. I'm using this as an example. The husband hits the wife and then says I'm sorry, and it happens.
And
on
he's
a weekly
done it
basis.
for years.
Right, or the child, and it's like that's a whole different context. There is no genuine sorrow there.
Right.
There's no genuine sorrow there. If there were genuine sorrow, we would see some kind of change in the pattern.
And those apologies we're not going to accept if the pattern continues.
That's right, if the pattern continues. It's the changing of behavior that is so critical in a situation like that. And it's okay that people struggle with it. This is life.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Nick.
You're welcome.
More Weekends with Whitney right after this.